The first strike. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the TNS Curiosity, watching as her research vessel's quantum sensors mapped the unexplored regions of the Carina Nebula. After 2 decades of careful expansion into space, humanity had learned to be cautious yet ambitious. The Curiosity's sleek design and modest size belied its true capabilities. Like all human ships, it carried far more than met the eye. "Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures," Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Pattern suggests artificial origin, but nothing matching known human frequencies." Elena's spine straightened. First contact. They'd prepared for this moment, but something felt off. The energy signatures were approaching too rapidly, too aggressively. "Battle stations," she ordered quietly. "Activate Ghost Protocol." The crew moved with practiced efficiency as the Curiosity's true nature revealed itself. Panels shifted, revealing weapon systems that had remained hidden from even the most sophisticated scans. The ship's quantum computer began running combat simulations based on the approaching signatures. "Multiple vessels dropping out of FTL," Sarah announced. "Design unknown. Energy readings massive." Her voice caught. "Captain, they're charging weapons." The first salvo from the alien vessels lit up space like artificial stars, but where they expected to find an easy target, they instead encountered sophisticated defense systems that had remained hidden from their scans. The Curiosity's phantom field generators created multiple false images of the ship, while its quantum-enhanced shields absorbed and redirected the enemy's energy weapons. "Return fire," Elena commanded. "Targeted EMP bursts, pattern Delta. And get me Earth command." The Curiosity's response was precise and devastating. The alien ships, overconfident in their technological superiority, had left themselves vulnerable to the supposedly primitive humans' counterattack. 2 of their vessels went dark as the electromagnetic pulses overwhelmed their shields. Admiral James Chen's hologram appeared on the bridge, his expression grim. "Captain Rodriguez, we're receiving similar reports across 3 sectors. The Correction Empire has launched simultaneous attacks on all human research vessels. Their demands just reached Earth: immediate surrender and submission to their authority." Elena watched as her tactical officer, Marcus Wong, coordinated another series of precision strikes against their attackers. "They expected us to be defenseless," she said. "They don't know about the Sentinel Protocol." "No, they don't." Admiral Chen smiled grimly. "And that's our advantage. The Security Council has authorized Operation Nightfall. You know what to do, Captain." Elena nodded as the transmission ended. For 15 years, humanity had prepared for this possibility. Every research vessel, every mining platform, every seemingly innocent satellite carried hidden military capabilities. The Caraxians had chosen to attack what they perceived as humanity's weakest elements, their scientific vessels. Instead, they'd attack the tip of a very long spear. "Send the coded burst transmission to all nearby human vessels," Elena ordered. "Authorization code: Phoenix Rising. Begin tactical data sharing and coordinate our counterattack." Across the sector, other research vessels revealed their true nature. The Caraxians had expected to find scattered, vulnerable targets. Instead, they found themselves facing a coordinated fleet of warships that had masqueraded as scientific vessels. "Multiple Correction ships approaching from Vector 317, Sarah reported. "They're adjusting their shield frequencies. They're learning." Elena smiled. "Too late. Execute Maneuver Hydra." The Curiosity split into 3 seemingly identical vessels, 2 holograms and 1 real, each executing different attack patterns. The Correction ships, unable to distinguish the real threat from the phantom images, divided their fire ineffectively. "Message from the Correction flagship," Marcus announced. "They're demanding to know how a primitive species acquired such technology." "No response needed," Elena replied, watching as another enemy vessel succumbed to their coordinated assault. Our actions will speak for us. As the battle raged on, Alina thought about humanity's long journey to this moment. They'd expanded into space knowing they weren't alone, suspecting that first contact might not be peaceful. Every colony, every ship, every installation had been built with hidden defensive capabilities. The Coraxians had expected to find an easy conquest. Instead, they'd awakened a sleeping giant. "Target their command ship," Alina ordered. "Let's show them exactly what happens when you underestimate humanity." The Curiosity's main cannon, disguised for years as an atmospheric sampling array, powered up. The Coraxian flagship never saw the quantum tunneling projectile that bypassed their shields completely. As their command ship split in two, the remaining Coraxian vessels began to retreat. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Sarah reported, "calling for reinforcements, declaring us a Class 1 threat species." Alina nodded grimly. "Send word to Earth Command." The Coraxians took their shot. Now it's our turn. As the last enemy ships flowed into FTL, Alina knew this was just the beginning. The Coraxian Empire had ruled through fear and technological superiority for millennia. But they'd never encountered a species like humanity, one that had hidden its true capabilities, preparing in secret for the day they would need to fight back. The first strike had failed. Now the real war would begin. Operation Shadow Protocol. Deep within Mars Command, Admiral James Chen studied the holographic display showing humanity's response to the Coraxian assault. Hundreds of seemingly dormant satellites and defense platforms across human space had activated, revealing their true nature. The Coraxians' initial strike had failed, but their main fleet was approaching. "Operation Shadow Protocol is fully activated," General Maria Santos reported, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical displays. "All colonies have initiated their defense grids. Civilian populations are being moved to the underground shelters we spent the last decade preparing." The massive chamber hummed with activity as officers coordinated humanity's response. What appeared to be major cities on Earth's colonies were actually elaborate holograms, masking the true locations of human settlements. Every piece of infrastructure had been designed with warfare in mind, hidden beneath a veneer of peaceful scientific development. "Status of the Ghost Fleet?" James asked, watching as red dots representing Coraxian warships appeared at the edge of human space. "The automated shipyards in the Kuiper Belt have begun mass production," Maria replied. "The Coraxians thought they were abandoned mining facilities. They're about to learn differently." James nodded, remembering the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. While humanity publicly focused on scientific advancement, they had secretly developed weapons specifically designed to counter the kind of technology they might face from advanced alien civilizations. "Sir," Lieutenant Commander Jackson interrupted, "we're detecting quantum communications between Coraxian ships. They're coordinating for a major assault." "Let them come," James said quietly. "Initiate Phase 2. Across human space, countless automated factories hidden in asteroids and seemingly dead worlds sprang to life. They began producing swarms of autonomous combat drones, each one equipped with technology that appeared primitive but was perfectly designed to exploit weaknesses in advanced energy shields and targeting systems. The first wave of Coraxian battleships encountered what seemed to be standard orbital defense platforms. Their scans showed simple kinetic weapons and nuclear missiles, technology they considered primitive. But when they opened fire, their energy weapons passed straight through the targets. "Quantum ghost projectors performing as expected," Maria reported with satisfaction. "They're wasting energy attacking holograms, while our real platforms acquire targeting solutions." The counterattack, when it came, was devastating. Platforms that had appeared defenseless launched sophisticated weapons that the Coraxians had never encountered. Projectiles that used quantum tunneling to bypass shields, electromagnetic pulses specifically tuned to their ship's operating frequencies, and swarms of microscopic robots that could disable their advanced targeting systems. "Message from the Coraxian Command," Jackson announced. They're demanding to know how we acquired this level of technology. They're claiming we must have stolen it from other species. James smiled grimly. Send them our response. This is what happens when you mistake patience for weakness. The battle raged across multiple star systems as humanity's true military capability revealed itself. The Corrections had expected to find a species that relied on brute force and primitive technology. Instead, they encountered an enemy that had studied them from afar, developing countermeasures for every advantage they possessed. Sir, Maria called out, we're detecting multiple quantum signatures. Their reinforcements are arriving. Good, James replied. Time to show them our next surprise. Activate the quantum entanglement network. Good, James replied. Time to show them our next surprise. Activate the quantum entanglement network. Suddenly, every human ship and defense platform began coordinating with perfect synchronization, sharing targeting data and adapting strategies in real time. The Correction fleet, accustomed to fighting technologically inferior enemies, found themselves facing an opponent that could predict and counter their every move. They're pulling back, Jackson reported, regrouping at the edge of the Arcturus sector. James studied the tactical display. The initial phase had gone according to plan, but he knew this was just the beginning. The Corrections would return with a better understanding of human capabilities, but that had been factored into Operation Shadow Protocol as well. Send word to all commands, he ordered. Begin Phase 3. It's time to take this war to their territory. As the orders went out, hidden shipyards throughout human space began launching a new type of vessel, stealth ships designed to penetrate deep into Correction territory. Each carried a payload that would reveal humanity's most carefully guarded secret. They hadn't just prepared to defend themselves. They had prepared to liberate every species the Corrections had subjugated. The real war was about to begin, and the Corrections were about to learn that they hadn't just attacked a single species. They had awakened a force that would reshape the galaxy. The Alliance of the Oppressed. Commander Maya Patel's stealth vessel emerged from quantum space near Correction-controlled Proxima Centauri. Her ship, the Shadow Whisper, represented humanity's most advanced stealth technology. But she wasn't here to fight. She was here to make contact. Deep scans revealed the truth about the Proxima system. Beneath the Correction military installations, an enslaved civilization called the Zruthali struggled under imperial rule. Their world had been conquered centuries ago, their advanced technology stripped away, their people forced to serve as laborers in Correction production facilities. Signal detected, Lieutenant Ravi Kumar reported. It matches the resistance frequency we intercepted. Maya nodded. Send the coded message. Let's see if our intelligence was correct. The response came within minutes, a quantum-encrypted transmission from deep within the Zruthali underground facility. The message contained a single word, freedom. While the main human fleet engaged Correction forces in open space, ships like the Shadow Whisper were executing humanity's masterstroke. Intelligence gathered over decades had revealed the Empire's greatest weakness, the countless species they had conquered and subjugated. Multiple contacts approaching, Ravi warned. Correction patrol vessels. Hold position, Maya ordered. Let's test our cloak. The patrol ships passed within kilometers of the Shadow Whisper, their advanced sensors detecting nothing. Humanity's stealth technology, developed in secret, proved superior to Correction detection systems. The next transmission from the Resistance contained coordinates. Following them led the Shadow Whisper to a massive underground complex. Maya's team made contact with the Zruthali resistance leader, Hthera, a tall, crystalline being whose faceted surface reflected the dim light. You offer weapons? Hthera asked through the translator. Many have promised aid before. All failed. Maya activated a holographic display showing the recent battles. We offer more than weapons. We offer victory. The Corrections attacked us, expecting an easy conquest. This was their mistake. The Zruthali watched in amazement as human ships systematically dismantled Correction fleets. How? Kthera demanded. Their technology is superior to all others. No, Maya corrected. Their technology is different, not superior. We spent years studying their weaknesses, developing countermeasures. Now we're sharing this knowledge. Similar scenes played out across Caraxian space as human stealth ships contacted other subjugated species. The Volari, masters of biological engineering. The Nexus, experts in quantum computing. The Meridians, whose understanding of gravity manipulation had been stolen by the Caraxians centuries ago. On Earth, Admiral Chen received Maya's encrypted transmission. "The Zerithali are with us," she reported. "And they're not alone. The entire Proxima sector is ready to rise." James smiled. The Caraxians had built their empire on stolen technology and conquered peoples. They never imagined these scattered, oppressed species could unite. They never conceived that humanity would not only resist, but would forge an alliance of the very civilizations they had subjugated. "The Caraxians are pulling forces from their core systems," General Santos reported. "They're finally taking us seriously." "Too late," James replied. "Execute Phase 4. Across Caraxian space, seemingly docile slave populations suddenly revealed carefully hidden weapons and technologies provided by human stealth ships. Centuries of oppression had taught these species patience. Now, guided by human tactical advisors and armed with weapons specifically designed to counter Caraxian technology, they struck. The Zerithali disabled Proxima's defense grid using crystalline technology that the Caraxians had never fully understood. The Volari released engineered microorganisms that consumed Caraxian energy shields. The Nexus unleashed quantum viruses that turned the Empire's own automated systems against them. Maya watched from the Shadow Whisper as the Proxima sector erupted in rebellion. "All resistance cells report ready," Ravi announced. "They're awaiting the signal." "Send it," Maya ordered. "Tell Earth Command the Alliance is born." The signal spread across Caraxian space, coordinates for a quantum-encrypted communication network that would unite all resistance forces. The Caraxians had ruled through division and fear. Now they faced something unprecedented. A coordinated uprising supported by human military power. The war entered a new phase. The Caraxians weren't just fighting humanity anymore. They were fighting every species they had ever wronged, armed with human technology and burning with centuries of stored vengeance. Their empire of fear began to crumble under the weight of unified resistance. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had lit the spark. Breaking the Empire. The Caraxian High Command fortress on Centaurus Prime was burning. Admiral Vexthor watched in disbelief as centuries of Imperial dominance crumbled. Human ships, working in perfect coordination with rebel forces, systematically dismantled their supposedly impenetrable defenses. "Multiple breaches in sectors 7 through 12, his subordinate reported. "The Zerithali crystal ships are bypassing our shield harmonics. The Volari bioweapons are consuming our hull plating." Vexthor had never imagined this scenario. The humans hadn't just fought back. They had united their former slaves into an unstoppable force. Every species the Caraxians had conquered now turned their unique abilities against their former masters. In Earth Command, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display as another Caraxian stronghold fell. The combined fleet of human and allied ships moved with devastating efficiency, using strategies that centuries of Imperial doctrine had never anticipated. "The Meridian gravity weapons are destabilizing their orbital platforms," General Santos reported. "Nexus quantum viruses have compromised their targeting systems. They're fighting blind." The Caraxians had built their empire on technological superiority. Now that same technology was being turned against them by species who understood its deepest workings because they had built it under Caraxian whips. Commander Maya Patel's stealth fleet struck at the heart of Caraxian supply lines. Her ships, now crewed by mixed teams of humans and allied species, exploited weaknesses that only centuries of servitude could reveal. "Their quantum communication network is collapsing," Maya reported to Earth Command. The Nexus infiltration was successful. They're losing coordination between sectors. The Correction Empire had never faced a force like this, an alliance that combined human strategic innovation with the intimate knowledge of countless subjugated species. Their carefully maintained hierarchy of fear and domination became their greatest weakness. Deep in Caraxian space, the Shadow Whisper led a strike force of liberation ships. Each vessel carried weapons and supplies to arm another uprising. The Empire had spent centuries ensuring no single species could challenge them. They never prepared for all of them rising at once. "Sir," Lieutenant Kumar called out, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the Caraxian homeworld. They're activating something." In desperation, the Caraxians unveiled their ultimate weapon, a massive quantum device designed to enslave entire populations through neural control. But humanity had prepared for this too. "Execute Protocol Omega," Admiral Chen ordered. Across the battlefield, human ships activated unique quantum field generators. The Caraxian weapon fired and found its signals reflected back by carefully tuned quantum mirrors. Their own control wave washed over their fleet, freezing their ships in space. The Caraxian Empire had ruled through fear, domination, and stolen technology. Now they faced an enemy that had spent years preparing for this exact moment, armed with the combined knowledge of every civilization they had oppressed. "Message from the Caraxian High Command," Santos announced. "They're requesting terms." James Chen thought of all the species that had suffered under Caraxian rule, of the countless lives lost to imperial ambition. "Transmit our response. Unconditional surrender. The age of empires is over." As the Caraxian leadership faced the consequences of centuries of oppression, humanity and its allies began the work of rebuilding. The technology the Caraxians had hoarded was returned to its original creators. The knowledge they had suppressed was freely shared. The galaxy was transforming. Where there had been an empire built on fear, a new alliance emerged, one founded on cooperation and mutual respect. Humanity had not just won a war, they had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. The empire was broken, but the real work was just beginning. A new age of exploration, innovation, and cooperation dawned, promising a future where no species would dominate another again. Dawn of a new galaxy. 1 year after the Caraxian surrender, the new Galactic Council convened on Earth. Representatives from over 30 formerly subjugated species gathered in the quantum-linked chamber. Their diverse forms a testament to the variety of life that had been suppressed under imperial rule. Admiral James Chen stood before them, his uniform bearing the new insignia of the Allied Species Defense Force. "The last Caraxian resistance cells have been neutralized," he reported. "Their weapons have been dismantled, their technology redistributed to its rightful creators." Kthera, the Zrithuli resistance leader, now stood as head of the Council's Technology Reclamation Committee. Their crystalline form shimmered as they spoke. "The quantum databases have been decrypted. Centuries of stolen innovation are being returned to their original species. The Caraxians themselves, stripped of their empire, were confined to their homeworld under supervision. Their society was being rebuilt, not as conquerors, but as equals in the new galactic community." Commander Maya Patel's Shadow Fleet had transformed into an exploration course, seeking out other civilizations hidden from Caraxian oppression. Each discovery brought new allies, new technologies, new possibilities for cooperation. "The Meridians have successfully restored their gravity manipulation network," Maya reported. "Combined with human quantum drive technology, we've opened new corridors for safe interstellar travel." The Volari biological engineering labs, once forced to create weapons, now developed cures for diseases that had plagued multiple species. The Nexus quantum computers coordinated scientific research across civilizations, accelerating progress exponentially. "We've confirmed 3 new emerging civilizations in the Orion Spur," General Santos announced. "First contact protocols are being established based on mutual respect and transparency." This was humanity's true victory, not just defeating an empire, but fostering a new way of existence. The combined knowledge of dozens of species, freely shared, sparked an unprecedented age of discovery and innovation. The quantum entanglement network is operating at full capacity, Lieutenant Kumar reported. All member worlds are now connected in real-time communication. James watched the holographic display showing thousands of ships, human, Zrithali, Volari, Meridian, and others, working together to build something unprecedented. A civilization where strength came from cooperation rather than conquest. The Correction's belief power came from domination. He addressed the Council. They spent millennia proving themselves wrong. True power comes from unity, from combining our unique strengths, from lifting each other up rather than pushing others down. As the Council session ended, James stood at the observation deck, watching Earth's sunset. Humanity had entered the galactic stage prepared for war, but had achieved something greater. They had sparked a revolution not just in technology or politics, but in how species could coexist. New contact at the edge of mapped space. Maya's voice came through the quantum link. Another civilization, hidden all this time. They're requesting dialogue. James smiled. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and possibilities that no single species could explore alone. The age of empires was over. The age of collaboration had begun. In the deep of space, ships of all species flew together, carrying the combined knowledge and dreams of countless civilizations. They flew not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals, united in the greatest adventure any of them had ever known, building a future worthy of them all. The war was over. The real story, the story of what intelligent life could achieve together, was just beginning.